Hello dear children, I hope you all are fine and staying healthy at your home, and I also hope you have written your paper very nicely. Welcome back to your English class, children. So today we are going to learn one of your major topic in your English grammar, and that is tenses. So what are tenses? Before moving to tenses, I want you to do one activity that is given in your book also. So students, I have written here 5 sentences, and you are going to see the time of the action done in the sentences. If the action done is in past or the action has been done earlier, we are going to put that sentence in past. And if the action is like it is happening now, so we are going to put that sentence in present. And in a sentence where the action will be happening somewhere in future, so we are going to put that sentence in this future column. So let us see the first sentence. We went to China. We went to China. So action here is went. We went, that means the action has been done earlier. So this sentence is of past. So number 1 sentence comes under the column of past. I play football. Here the action I play football is happening now. It is in present. So the sentence 2 we are going to put in present column. We played cricket yesterday. That means yesterday we have played cricket. That means the action had happened yesterday. So sentence 3 will come in past column. I will go to Delhi. That means I will, the action will be happening somewhere in future. I will go to Delhi. So therefore this sentence 4 will come in future column. And the last is birds are flying in the sky. That means the action, that means flying is done right now. It is, the action is being performed in present. So here sentence 5 we are going to put under present tense. So students, you see there are various things happening in the world. Some happens now, that means in present, or some has happened earlier, that means in past, or some will happen sometime in future. So how are we going to understand the time of the action, and that we are going to understand by the tenses. So students, tenses denotes the time of action. Tenses denotes the time of action, or it is the ability of a verb to situate itself in a sentence. Tense, it is nothing, it is just nothing, it is just an ability of a verb that allow it to situate itself in the sentence, or you can say it is the ability of the verb it is the ability of the verb in which it changes itself according to the time of the action. That I will make you understand now. Now students, you see I have told you what are tenses. Tenses are the ability of verb to change itself according to time of action. Action के time के according tenses क्या है? Verb अपने आप को change कर लेती है according to time of action. These are only tenses. Tenses क्या होती हैं? These are basically the verbs. These are basically the verbs that change itself into another form according to time of the action. For example, go, went, gone, goes, going. तो go एक verb है हमारी. Go is a verb. So go has changed into these forms according to time. Go change हो जाती है went में, gone में, goes में, going में according to the time of action. For example, he went to market yesterday. That means the action go. यहाँ पे action क्या हो रही है? हमारी verb क्या है? Go. He went to the market yesterday. Yesterday means वो कल market गया था. That means it is a past. That means it is a past form of tense. So here go has changed into went. Go किस में change हो गई है? Went में. So here we can say the verb, the tenses are the ability of verb to change itself according to time of action. Time of action क्या है यहाँ पे? Time क्या है action का? Yesterday, that means past. पहले हो चुका action. And here go has changed into went according to time. So basically we can say this is a past tense. So tenses are nothing, students. Tenses are the ability of verb to change themselves in another form according to the time of the action. And we are having basically 5 types or 5 forms of verb, that is first form of verb, second form of verb, third form of verb, SODS form of verb and ING form of verb. And now we will see the tenses are of 3 types. There are 3 types of tenses, that is present tense, past tense and future tense. That I have told you earlier, that if the action is happening in present time, we will put that sentence in present tense. And if the action has been done earlier or before present, that means it is past tense. And if the action that we will do sometime in future, that will come under future tense. Now students, we will go on them one by one. So let us do present. Students, tenses are of 3 types, that is present, past and future. We are having 3 types of tenses, present, past and future. And what are they? We have discussed earlier. Now under present, we can classify this present, past and future in other various types. So present is having simple present, present continuous, perfect, present continuous, present perfect and present perfect continuous. Here past also can be classified further, that is simple past, past continuous, past perfect and past perfect continuous. And future also can be classified further, that is simple future, future continuous, future perfect and future perfect continuous. Though this future continuous, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous and future perfect continuous is not there in your syllabus, so we are not going to do the last type of these 3 tenses. We are going to cover only simple, continuous and perfect under the category of present, past and future. So in this lesson students, we are going to cover simple present, simple past and simple future, their identification and their formation. Now students, we are going to learn what is simple present tense. What is a simple present tense? Simple present tense show the action which is happening now, which has started now and which is happening now. Okay, so now we are going to learn the formation and identification of simple present tense. See, what is formation and identification? If you are given any sentence and you have to identify which kind of tense is it, then this formation and identification will help you to identify or to form the simple present tense. So what is the identification and formation? Subject plus first form of verb, SODS plus object. Now to form a simple present tense, you need to learn this formation: subject, V1, SODS plus object. Now what is subject? This is the very basic thing that we have learnt in your first lesson. What is a subject? Subject in a sentence is the doer of the action or about which something is being said in the sentence. That is a subject. Okay. And verb, you know very well. What is verb? Verbs are action words, and except subject and verb, the leftover part is object. So subject V1 plus SODS plus object. Let us see the example. Ram plays football. Ram plays football is a simple present tense. How can you say it is a simple present tense? Let us see. If it let us see the formation of the sentence. Ram plays football. So identify what is the subject in this. Of course it is Ram. Ram is our subject. And what is verb? Play. And which form of verb it is given? It is first form plus S. And football is our object. Does it satisfy our formation? Yes, it satisfies our formation subject V1 plus S or ES or and object. Subject V1 plus S plus object. So it is a simple present tense. They go to market. They is our subject, go is our verb, and to market is our object. So subject, verb and object. So students, here I have not written goes. Why I have not written goes? Because our subject is plural here. If our subject is singular, we are going to put S or ES. If our subject is plural, we are not going to put any S or ES. We are going to write only first form of verb. So basically, in simple present tense, in formation, which form of verb do we use? It is the first form of verb. And if our subject is singular, then with that first form we use S or ES. And if our subject is plural, we do not use any S or ES. For example, the bird flies in the sky or the birds fly in the sky. If bird is one, then flies. If birds are many, like many birds fly in the sky. Understood? So students, in simple present tense, we often use the expressions like always, every day, never, usually, sometime, generally and often. So we use these expressions in the sentence which is having the simple present tense. For example, Ram goes to gym every day. If every day is coming, it is but obviously the sentence is simple present. I generally go for a walk. Generally is coming, that means it is a simple present tense. So in simple present tense, we use expression like always, every day, never, usually, sometime, generally and often. Now students, we shall move to simple past tense. Now students, we shall move to simple past tense. What is a simple past tense? Simple past tense shows the action that has been started earlier and it has finished also. It was started earlier at a specific time in past and it is finished also. For example, Ram went to Delhi. Ram went to Delhi. That means Ram Delhi gaya tha. Rima danced gracefully. Rima danced gracefully. So now we will learn the formation and identification of simple past tense. And the simple past tense identification and formation is subject, the second form of verb and object. That is the subject, V2, object. It is very simple, subject plus second form of verb plus object. And example I have already quoted, that is Ram went to Delhi. Ram is our subject, went is our second form of verb and to Delhi is object. Rima is our subject, danced is verb and gracefully in competition. Here it is object. So subject plus V2 plus object is our simple past tense. So if a sentence is having subject plus V2 plus object as the formation, that means it is a simple past tense. Now in simple past tense, we are having various expressions that we use are yesterday, last night, etc. So, for example, in our simple present tense, we had various expression like always, never, usually. So here also we are having certain expressions to be used in simple past tense. Yesterday, last night, last month or last year, ago. These are the expressions that we use in simple past tense. For example, I went to party last night. If it is having last night, that means it is but obvious that it is a simple past tense. I went to Delhi yesterday. That means it is having yesterday. That means the sentence is simple past. I worked on this topic last month. So It is a simple past. Now students, we shall move on to the simple. Now students, we will move on to simple future. What is simple future? Simple future shows the action which will happen sometime in future. It shows the action which will happen sometime in future. That means जो future में कोई action होने वाला है, that will come under simple future. And here which expressions do we use? These are next day, tomorrow, next month, in 5 minutes, next year. For example, Rima will go to Delhi tomorrow. Ram will perform in competition next month. I shall sit in exam next year. So let us come on the formation and identification, and very easy formation and identification is there. It is subject plus will shall plus first form of verb plus object. Subject, will shall, first form of verb, object. Here will shall, will or shall. Subject, will और shall. Subject के बाद will और shall आएगा, will shall इकट्ठा नहीं आएगा. If our subject is I and we are going to put shall after I and we. I और we के बाद what we are going to put? Shall. And except I and we are going to put will. ठीक है? For example, Rima will go to Delhi tomorrow. Rima is our subject. After subject, हमारा subject यहाँ पे I and we नहीं है. Then we are going to put will. Rima will, first form of verb, go and object to Delhi tomorrow. Here Ram will perform in the competition next month. Here I shall sit an exam next year. Here our subject is I, and with I and we, what do we put? Shall. So shall, then first form of verb, then our object. So what is the identification for and formation? Subject plus will or shall plus first form of verb plus object. So this was all about simple future. Now students, we are going to learn how to identify simple present tense, simple past tense and simple future tense with the help of some examples. So students, here I have written 6 sentences, and in these 6 sentences you have to find out these sentences are of which tense. For example, I have written Ram goes to market. If I ask Ram goes to market, identify the tense in it. How are you going to identify that it is of, whether it is of simple present or simple past or simple future? How are you going to identify? So for identification, see, first of all we are going to recall what is the identification, what is the formation of simple present, simple past and simple future. So first of all what we are going to identify? Subject, verb and object. So Ram goes to market. Ram is our subject, go is our first form, S or ES, and to market is our object. So subject plus V1 plus S or ES plus object. Which tense is it? Yes, it is a simple present. It is a simple present tense. Next, my mother will cook food. What is the subject here? My mother will. Cook is first form of verb, object. Subject plus will plus V1 plus object. Which tense is this? Subject plus will shall plus first form of verb plus object. Which tense was it? Yes, it was future, simple future. So it is simple future tense. Birds flew in the sky. Again, what is the subject? Birds. Flew is second form of verb, in the sky is object. Subject plus second form of verb plus object is which tense? Which is the tense here? Subject plus V2 plus object. It is simple past. It is simple past. Rita will make a chart. Rita, subject, will, V1, object. Subject plus will shall plus V1 plus object. Which tense is it? Yes, it is future. Simple future. We shall move together. We shall move together. We is subject, shall, V1 object. Subject plus will shall plus V1 plus object. Which one? Future, simple future. My father works in a factory. What is the subject here? My father. Works here is V1 plus S given. In a factory, object. So recall, subject plus V1 plus S or ES plus object. Subject plus V1 plus S is given, then object is given. Subject plus V1 plus S or ES plus object. Which tense? It is simple present tense. So this is how you are going to identify the sentences, the tenses in the sentences. I hope you have understood how to identify the tenses in the sentences. So students, this was all about your simple present, simple past and simple future.